So we'll go with the agenda for today. It's not much, but yeah, we'll start with some introduction of how startups actually work and what should come to your mind when you think of an idea or innovation. Then what should be your primary goals? Then personal, then I'll talk some experiences of mine. I have been into startups and I've been working in a startup, so I have some real hands-on experience. And then we'll summarize the entire thing, and we'll have time for Q&A. Okay, so I'll try to wrap this up really quickly so that we have more time for Q&A. Okay, so yeah, introduction. As you can read in the slide, it's very clear, right? There is a systematic doubt evolves with time as idea takes shape. Will the innovation work and meet the demands? Will it displace vested interest and disrupt current practice, right? So this is what you're, to define these points, um, how do you break the monotony? Like people have been doing a certain thing a certain way. Your parents, their entire life bought things in a shop. They went to a convenience store or kirana store and they were like, give me this, and a person would come over and give them that product, right? And they would pay money for it and get out, right? Done, easy peasy. But then, a company comes and says that, bro, take out your phone and order something, and we'll deliver it to you. Not immediately, probably next day, day after tomorrow, or probably a week, or probably the same day, probably in 2 hours, probably in 30 minutes. But you can order anything from anywhere, right? And people were like, no, what the hell, what are you talking about? Be like going to the store, right? But then the person was like, no, let's do it. I think it'll work. And guess what? It worked. So you can order anything on Amazon. You can order international products and it'll come to your doorstep. It takes time, but it comes, right? You pay for it and whatever it appears. So how do you disrupt current practice? That's the whole, game of innovation. You try to change monotony. Like biggest example being Zepto, right? They are delivering products to you in 10-15 minutes. How are they doing so? They are trying to kill the fridge in your house, right? You will not need fridge anymore. You want anything that goes bad, like let's say you want some green vegetables, you want cheese, you want paneer that tends to go bad. You can't hold it in your fridge. So, you simply order in 10-15 minutes. By the time you prepare to cook food, your main ingredients are home, right? So Zepto is trying to kill your fridge. It's, basically cloud fridge right now. You can order virtually any food item that you require and they'll deliver within 10-15 minutes. Conditions being, the warehouse is near your house or something. So I stay in Sakar Nagar and it's available here. And like I abuse it like a lot, right? Because I work from home and I like things being delivered to me just like that, right? So they when they started with it, they took no delivery fees, but now they cost 7 rupees per delivery, and 7 rupees for anyone is like, yeah, take it, just give it to me, right? So that they're doing that. So they're disrupting current practice. You no more are required to go somewhere and get something. You have everything delivered. So people objected that some let's say a delivery person is trying to meet the time limit that is of 10-15 minutes and deliver something to you. What if he meets with an accident? He has a family to take care of, right? He's trying to rush the delivery. But then you can find everything. You can find this also by making warehouses really near to you. So this warehouse that my items come from is right here in Sakar Nagar, and in the app it mentioned that 10-15 kilometers per hour is the average speed of the delivery person. So that gives me some assurance, but I don't really know how are they driving, what is the driving condition, then where the warehouse exactly is, because all these information is hidden from you. But then you are assured from the UI of the application that okay, no, everything's fine, everything's right there. So this is how you disrupt the current practice, and that's all your innovation is going to be like. You think of something, will it work? Will it be able to crack the current system? You do something you in the usual way, but something to break. Zoom did that when COVID hit. colleges were closed, but classes had to happen. Otherwise, students' life would be ruined. So Zoom came and they were like, break the current practice. You're going to college, but no, sit at home, just open your laptop, switch on your camera, just attend the class. You need not have to be physically present there. So that was disruption of practice, right? So this is what your innovation is all about usually, and that's how you make it meet. I mean, that's how you make it work, right? And then the simple trick to align innovation efforts with the company's business strategies, and more importantly, articulate its consistency. So this is what matters again, right? You start with something, you do not lose the touch, right? Something like OnePlus did. They started with something, they wanted to have the best of the best hardware and the cheapest price tag as possible, but then they changed, right? They could not stay consistent because of business practices. The owner company Oppo was not happy with it, so they got rid of the existing CEO. They got new ones. The co-founder became the new CEO, and basically OnePlus is not what it used to be. It used to be something that everyone loved. And, when I was in college, I dreamed about having a OnePlus. Obviously, did not have that much money and my parents would never buy it for me. So that was a different story. But then now, today, I think like from college to now, it's like 7 years later, seven generations of OnePlus phones. I do not want a OnePlus phone, though I can afford it, I can buy it immediately, but I would not, right? So that's the difference. Consistency matters. Otherwise you lose customers, you lose everything. Okay, and the last point here, this is very important. It's essentially a battle against time, and most important part of attack is the planning, right? How you plan to make it work, how you plan to make it all started. Like, it's your startup, your idea. How do you want it to work? It's all about that. It's all about planning. So you do it well, you can nail it. But if you do not do it well, it'll fall apart, and things can go sideways. And it has happened to me, so I'll tell you about it. Okay, so moving on, primary goals. So these are some basic questions that these are not mine, honestly. I just found them somewhere on some site. I will link you the credit if you want. But then, yeah, it's basically just things that you need to ask yourself if you want to do something, right? We'll just start with, I'll just read out everything, and then yeah, we can discuss about it if you want. So if everything goes well, where does the project take us? If not, how likely would the project be to find other outlets? Am i am i willing to try? Where do I start? Who will be my adventure partners? How much money do I put in it? And if I cannot hire, how can I find support I need? How will I find investors for the project? Will I be able to finance the project from awards and public aids? Uh, well, it looks like I'll finally be able to get more people to join the team, other entities, and can other collaborate with us, right? And then the last one, bonus question: will I reap the fruits of my labor? Like, this is a very important question, because come on, I mean, you do not do public service here. It's all for something in returns. Exposure doesn't pay bills. Exposure doesn't buy you food. You do everything. You get money. You buy yourself food. You make your lifestyle better, and then you grow on to it, right? That's how everything is. That's how everything is supposed to be. So, I mean, you're in first year, right? So, like, if anyone's asking you money for internship, do not do it. And if anyone's giving you free internship, do not do it. Take money always. Very important, right? I did not do free internships ever, and nothing else mattered. So yeah, I mean, these questions are very simple and straightforward. Let's talk about seventh point. So that was very important to me because I had a startup. We used to make websites for people, and it did last quite good amount of time, and we did good. So we hired quite a lot of people from college, and we gave internship. We got some full timers who would work on the startup, and it went on great. So support is always available. You can always fall back upon your contacts and your college, and there'll be skilled people. You'll always find skilled people everywhere. It's all the complaints from coming entire India that there's no job, blame the government. It's not government's fault that they don't have jobs. It's simply theirs. They are not skilled enough for them to get jobs. I mean, right now in my company, I have so many openings and we're not able to find people. I take interviews like I think 2 to 3 interviews per week, and I'm not able to pinpoint it to a single person and ask him, give him an offer, because they're not skilled enough, right? So it's not government's fault that people don't have jobs. Just be skilled enough, and there's always job openings, like always. There's no time in the today 21st century that there are no jobs for someone's skill. Like that's close to impossible. Probably people are not good enough. That's all. So this is how it is. So if anyone has any question on these questions, please let me know right now. Anyone? Guys, come on, speak up. Anyone? Don't be shy. I'll wait. Okay, I've been constantly talking. Come on, give me a break. Ma'am, nobody likes to talk in first year.
No, it's at the end of the session. I think they are ready.
Okay, let's hope for that.
Okay.
Cool. So I assume that none of these questions have, like, they're quite straightforward, right? You can ask yourself all of this and hmm, make sense out of it. If you have any questions, do let me know later. But yeah, we can move on. So this is a good quote. Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming, right? So your innovation, your startup is your business, and do not think like, okay, this I lost this idea. There's nothing else coming in, and what do I do? Just don't worry about it. There's another one coming always, all the time. There is no second thought about it. It's like about job opportunities. I'll tell you about my experience in 2020. It was terrible, but there's always another one coming, so no problem. Okay, so yeah, time for my some personal experiences. um I mean, as you see, I have not written much because I thought I'll talk about it. So they aren't much. I mean, I've just been part of 4 startups. So the right side too, you see, they are. Wait, can I use this? Yeah. So these two are something. They are commercial, they are corporate, they are offices, they are MNCs, and these two are something that I started at home. I mean, me and bunch of lot of people, we started these two at home, right? So part of both the start. I mean, I'm currently part of only these 3 startups, right? This is dead. But let's start. So Raw Studios. Raw Studios were a fun startup. It was a startup right out of SEC, and honestly, I mean, that was the kind of first money that I ever made, and we did make good money. So we were a bunch of photographers and editors and basically all creative stuff, and we were like, wow, let's just do it. Let's commercialize this, right? And how do we commercialize? We're like, let's start it in college. So we started taking pictures for events in our college itself, and we got paid as well for it because I mean, college understands this. Right? College will never do bad for their students. They always think of the students. So they paid us, and it was great. Then we started to like make it bigger, and we expand to other colleges. We went to MBIT, we went to Reva. We were like, you want photos taken professional level, drone, this, that. And they were like, yeah, why not? So we were the outside photographers who had the VIP passes in other colleges, and we would take photos and then give them out. And I would sit and edit them. I would pull all-nighters, and it was great fun. It was honestly a lot of fun. So it was just that we were a bunch of friends. A few of my seniors and a few of my juniors, and a lot of people. We joined together and started this. It was honestly a lot of fun, but we did not have any growth plan. We did not know, okay, after college, what will we continue this? Will we, actually stick on to it or do something else? Or how do we scale it in the actual real world? Right? We had none of those thoughts. We were just, just swinging by it. And honestly, it worked for them. But then, as soon as the college got over, I got into jobs. Everyone else who was a photographer in the company got into jobs. And Two of them did not. They are still photographers and they are doing great in their lives. But then yeah, Raw Studios did not stick because of this. We did not have planning for future. We did not have any scaling factors. So the company still exists. Raw Studios still exists. There is another person who is running it currently. He was a part of our startup, but then he took it to a mainstream. He had a lot of funding from his own parents, and he he kept it going. And then another startup came in that was called Genesis. This is the one that I was telling you about, where I got internship for a lot of juniors, and it was great. I mean, it's still going on great, but then here a lot of things happened. I mean, when I say gave it all I had, I mean it, because here I even put money, right? I invested in buying hardware, computer hardware for editing, some lenses, some cameras, and all that. So we had branched out this company to a lot. Genesis Production, Genesis Media, Genesis Dev, whatnot, you name it, and we had it. And we were doing great. Actually, we were doing great. We made good money here as well. And but then moving on, here the scaling idea relied on, because we did not have constant projects coming in, so we could not hire anyone full time. They would not be working because we could not promise everyone salary. Like, how do you, if you don't have money flow, how do you promise salary, right? So salary was not a assurance. So we could not hire anyone full time. That's why we hired interns, and interns got paid really well. I mean, trust me, they got more money than I did. Um, yeah, if you want, I can give their credentials later, but they're not important right now. So
I remember, Deepak, I just wanted to interrupt you, but I
fine.
remember that Sarveshwaran was working as an intern at you, and after Sarveshwaran, Vishal Unnikrishnan last year pass out, right?
Yes, ma'am. And
And
Mahant also.
who? Mahanta.
Mahant.
Okay, Mahant. So I
Ah,
remember they used to tell me that they are getting a paid for the internship what they are doing at you. And I also at my level I tried to give some of the students to you through screening and all, then you have selected them. So
yes,
from
ma'am.
your side, yeah, we remember that you have given internships to our students, and it really helpful for them in their placements, because both Sarveshwaran, Unikrishnans, I mean Vishal Unikrishnan, Mahant, all are placed. They actually they told personally to me it helps them a lot. The internship helps them a lot in getting the good placement. So that's really good. So we'll see now onwards. Again, we'll come back to this internship. If you're still providing, as you are saying, you are ready to that, we'll just find out the students who are interested.
Definitely, ma'am. So, I mean, our current business model has changed, but then, yeah, if the current what we're trying grows that way, then definitely, ma'am, we'll come back to the internship for sure.
Sure, sure.
Hmm. So yeah, as ma'am said, so it's basically we need more and more skilled people. Even when you're skilled, it doesn't matter you're in college or you're out of college. You always get opportunities. So Vishal and Mahant, I think they made close to 6, 7 websites with us, and they made good sum of money. Right, we paid them really handsomely. I think they. I mean, okay, I don't know the exact number, but they would have made upwards of 30 to 40K easily, right? Because hard work. You work on something, it's not for free. You need to get paid fair, right? So it's always like that. We don't believe in okay, give internship, exposure, wow, bye. No, we don't do that. So yeah, whatever work you do always translates into money. That's the official everything, right? If anyone says I'll teach, no, that it doesn't work like that. You learn, you work, you get paid. As simple as that. So yeah, that's what. So we used to make websites here in Genesis, and because of our financial issues that we cannot pay salary constantly, it did not work. And but internship model worked like wonders. We got Sarvesh, we got Vishal Mahan, and they worked with us really long, and they got paid and it worked wonders. But then we thought about it, we talked about it, and it wasn't scalable. right? How long can we keep hiring interns? Because as they were in college, they did not have any other work after college. They could work for us easily, but then if they join a real time job, a proper job, or they want to prepare for higher studies to go outside, we cannot scale. We cannot expect them to give their time for some money to work for us and not promise them a future. That doesn't work like that. So we Vishal and Mahan still work with us. They do the maintenance of the site that they have built, but then it's not mainstream. It's not a thing like, okay, constantly you have to give us time or do that, right? But then so we ended that idea. We do not work on websites anymore, and we are moving our business model to something else that we are trying to make it work. And it's still the idea is in talks. So we'll discuss about it some other time. I'll tell you about it, how it goes. Okay, so that's quite about that. So these two were my own startups. I worked really hard for them, and they ended up great. So moving on, Flux 7 Inc. So this was a company that hired me right out of college. I got placement offers from college a lot. Okay, I think I was the person with the highest number of offer letters right out of college, like the campus placement. I think I was, yeah. I think I was, yeah. So I did not like any of them. I was like, they're good, but then I can do better. I really felt like that. So I found Flux 7 on LinkedIn and I applied and they hired me. They hired me as an intern. And my initial package was, I think, 6.5 lakhs per annum. And I was really happy. I was like, whoa, okay, this is good stuff. Okay. And they told me that if you perform really well for 6 months, we'll hire you full time. And we were like, yes, bro, I need this. Let's go for it. So I learned everything. So I'm a DevOps engineer today. I am thankful to Flux 7 for that because they introduced me to it. I did not know that something like DevOps exists, and there's people sitting out there just working on cloud and nothing else. So I work on cloud, and day in and day out, AWS is my livelihood. If AWS goes away, I don't know what I'll do with my life. So I learned everything there, and it was a startup, so there were a lot of uncertainties, and it did happen. So what happened was they sold Flux 7 to Entity Data. Entity Data is huge. Okay, you can Google Entity Data. They have so many people that they can be called a state or a city, or probably even a country. They have so many people working for them, right? And they absorbed Entity Data, and it was no more a startup. It was no more fun working there. I had a manager. He was like, "Bro, do this work and get out. We don't care for anything else." And it was no fun. I mean, I did not have any ownership for my work. I would just write code, push it, and done. Right? That was not fun. So I decided to leave it in 2019 December. The 2019 December was my notice period. And then I joined Verana Networks. It was a brand new startup that had just started in COVID times. They did not have an office. And yeah, another thing, Flux 7 was a US based startup. So they hired me, and I was working remotely. So I started working remotely even before COVID. I never went to an office. That's to be there, and I was working from home. So I could just be like away for a few months and go to college. So it was very easy for me. So those things worked out great. And then joining Verana Networks was brand new and everything new. It was amazing. It was a network startup. So we work on 5G technology. If 5G is coming to India. It's not here yet, but when it comes, I'll be one of the person responsible for it. Only if you're using Airtel. If you're using Jio, then no. Jio buys from Samsung, and we are not working with Samsung. We are working with Ericsson and Nokia, and that's what Airtel uses. So yeah, if you're using Airtel, then you'll be using piece of my tech for sure. I assure you. So that's what. And this startup, I work nights. They asked me to be available at any point of time because I'm responsible for creating simulators that will enact as real world 5G topology. So there's a tower, there's a satellite, there's a phone. All these things are simulated on different machines, on different kind of hardware, and we try to enact it as, okay, you be this, you be this, and let's try to connect all of this together. So it's fun working here. I mean, I have so much fun day in and day out. Just that I have to be available, and but it's great fun. And plus, Yeah, the next slide, which is a summary. So this is kind of my team. This person, Anil Bapat, he's the director India, and we had gone to Sakleshpur for a trek for from company, and it was great fun. You know, this like okay, none of them are my team members. It's me and this guy here. We two are part of a team, and actually this guy left to join Oracle. He was like, okay, I need something big now. He didn't want to work at startup, and he had close to 9 years of experience. So he wanted to move on from startup life. So he left us, but then we are a great team. I mean, this team is great. It's these are only few people who made it to the peak. There are others who were sitting down when this picture was taken. So yeah, I was happy I was one of those to reach the peak. But then yeah, this is quite about it. My personal so this is very high level picture of what the experience looks like. If I have to talk about it, I can spend days talking about my experiences in the startups. A lot of things happen, and here and there, ups and downs. It always comes on. It's startups are not like big companies where you're given a work, and irrespective of anything else, you are assured tomorrow and everything's going to go fine. Startups are not like that. Startups today they're doing great, tomorrow they might not be, right? You don't know what makes the downfall, so you need to be ready. And yeah, so in the summary, I'd like to say it isn't difficult to start what you think you will work. Just do it. Believe me, I've done